I was just too critical of some shit that just doesn't matter. He's an elite player, and he's gonna be an elite player as long as he's healthy. Like he's a Hall of Fame talent. He really is. And best defensive line ever. I'd have to think about that one. You got to get it done in the playoffs. I think the 07 Pats or definitely the 11, or not the 07 Pats, the team that beat the 07 Pats, the 07 Giants, and then the 11 Giants with like JPP, Kiwanuka, O.C. Umenyiora, Canty, and then the ones with Strahan. Those Tuck, they dominated when all the chips were in the middle of the table. So it's awesome to dominate in the regular season, and that matters because that gets you to the playoffs. But the stakes get even higher come January. So can you dominate in January? And I don't see why the 49ers wouldn't be able to dominate in January. But I do think that to claim a best defensive ever or best offense ever, you got to get it done. We say forever the best offense ever, 07 Pats, and then that second year of Peyton Manning. Well, you got to win the Super Bowl. You got to win the Super Bowl for me to put you in like a Montana unit or some of those Cowboys units or some of the Favre groups. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I mean, there's several other offenses. You got to get it done. Like James Harden's, he's better than Michael Jordan. Bullshit. You can't keep flopping in the playoffs. No one cares what you do in January. Nobody, except some Twitter accounts that tweet out your highlights. This whole thing in sports is about playoffs and championships. Now, there's other stuff that's important. You play well, you get paid, you lead a good life, you get famous, all that crap. But the whole point of this is to win, and win when games matter. So, yeah, they're an elite regular season defensive line. I don't see why they wouldn't be elite in the playoffs, but there's going to be a lot of pressure on them in the playoffs to dominate. Okay. Listen to your take on Dallas-New England game. And you had a key point bringing up the score, remarking that the game was not as close as the score would show. Basically, that New England owned us. Defense certainly slayed, and Dallas has a knack for stepping on their own feet constantly. You didn't bring up the tripping call. I didn't bring up the tripping call because I don't care. I'm not going to allow the tripping call to act like that was the reason the Cowboys lost, because it wasn't. The reason the Cowboys lost is because Jason Garrett was up a river without a paddle. I mean, he had no clue what was going on. Brady looked meh. I agree. Brady's looked meh all season, and Zeke showed up. I would agree. I never said Zeke sucked. It was superior defense challenging a team not acclimated to the region. Anyways, my question. Not a big college guy, so I never know who's coming out other than a few names. For the upcoming draft, I feel Dallas should pick defense. Who would potentially be available at the pick? Dallas in the early 20s. I would say that they could always use another defensive lineman. You look at the defensive line, they struggled getting pressure in the game against Brady. And if DeMarcus Lawrence doesn't dominate, like who else do they have? You can never have enough defensive backs. With Van Der Esch, who is banged up, and Jalen Smith, I would imagine they're not going to take a linebacker in the first round. So I would say defensive back or defensive lineman. I think it's one of those two areas. Player-wise, I'm not super locked in on the draft right now, to be honest with you, about what players would be in that value range. I'll have a better idea come like February.
This just in, it's officially fall, and that means a lot of things to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. The leaves are changing colors. It's time to break out the pumpkins, break out the football.
And most importantly, break out the Truly hard seltzer. See, Truly has only 100 calories, but has 5% ABV and only 1 gram of sugars per container. It's the can't-miss drink of the season, so try Truly hard seltzer today. Truly. Drink what you truly want.
I've been a lifelong Viking fan. Do you think there is a realistic chance to break the curse and possibly win a ring this year? I think we're going to find out a lot about the Vikings over the next month. If they go into Seattle and win that game, and then they host Green Bay and win those games, I'll say, hell yeah. They are a Super Bowl contender. I mean, I think they're a Super Bowl contender as we sit here right now. I think the pushback from people that are I think it would be anti-Cousins, not their defense is good enough, their coach is good enough. It's can their quarterback, and we're going to get a front row seat on our couch, unless you live in Seattle and are going to the game, when they play the Seahawks. Can he go in and the 12s, that place is always so much louder on a Sunday or Monday night. Those fans, that place is nuts in a night game. Can he go into that hostile environment and produce? because he's played really well this season. He really has, beside the one game against the Bears where he was atrocious. Other than that, he's been good. They win that game. I think we start talking, can they win the division? And you win that division and you get a home game, potentially, depending on how it all plays out, maybe you get a home field bye. Yeah, if somehow, and it's not out of the realm of possibility, they would need the Saints to drop a couple games and the Niners too, but they could get the 1 seed if they won the next 5 games and shit got weird down the home stretch. That's probably more likely, best case scenario for them if they ran the table and went, I guess they would be 13-3, probably be the 2 seed, but I wouldn't want to go play the Skulls and that place rocking. But it's going to come down to how good Kirk Cousins plays in the big moments. And actually, I'm becoming more and more confident with him just because of the way they've built their team. And the way they've built their team is if Thielen can come back, and he's clearly really important, but the running back's a star and the pass rushers are awesome. With all the talk about moving an NFL franchise overseas, how do you see the possible playoff logistics working? The reason the regular season can work with byes and consecutive road games, but the wild card divisional rounds could be a sticking point. I'd love to hear your take on that. Well, if they move the Jaguars, you wouldn't have to worry about playoff games, right? I'm just kidding. Yeah, I mean, I can't pretend to have really thought it that far through. So there are huge roadblocks and hurdles to figure out. I completely understand that. And I'm saying they should move him there if they want to. I don't necessarily think they will. I live in Charlotte, and I'm a huge Panthers fan. With so many speculations swirling around Ron Rivera's future, do you think he should be let go? And if so, who are some head coach replacements that you could see David Tepper going after? I think Ron Rivera is a really good head coach. If he got fired, he should get a job immediately. Like, he is a playoff-level head coach. Do I think he's going to be fired? You would just say new owner. They're going to miss the playoffs. It's an easy kind of point in the franchise for him to hit the reset button. So I would say, yeah, it feels kind of likely he's a let-go candidate, right? Potential coaches, well, they got McCaffrey. They got DJ Moore. They got some pieces on offense. Cam Newton's situation is going to be up in the air. They still got Kuechly, but he's getting a little older. I would imagine Dave Tepper, new owner, would go after an offensive coach, a attempt. Maybe he writes an enormous check to Lincoln Riley. Matt Rule, call Josh McDaniels. Other than those, 3 guys, who are really the coaching candidates this year? Like Brian Schottenheimer, Greg Roman? Those guys are going to get a head coaching job? I'm hard-pressed to see it. Everyone keeps asking me, who are the head coaching candidates? Well, Lincoln Riley, Matt Rule, and Josh McDaniels? I don't really know. There aren't really. I mean, if Ron Rivera got fired, he would be one. If Jason Garrett got fired, I wouldn't hire him, but maybe someone would. I mean, I guess you could do worse. That's what's going to be. I think David Tepper, when he's thinking about firing Ron Rivera, needs to ask that question to whoever's around him. Who are we going after? Can we upgrade? Are we just firing a coach because we should fire the coach? I think sometimes that happens. But that, to me, is what you're going to have to figure out before you pull the trigger. Hope everyone had a great Thanksgiving. If you're listening to this, you're probably powering down some leftovers. That's the best part about Thanksgiving. You just get to pound leftovers. There's no better feeling also than just be like, you know what? I'm going to get fat for the next 2 or 3 days, and I don't give a shit who judges me. Just eat and eat and eat more. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy your family. I mean this with all sincerity. I'm thankful for all you guys listening to this and helping grow this and share it with your friends and all the kind words you guys send me on DMs on Instagram. It truly does mean a lot. So have a good week, and I'll see y'all next week. Adios. Let me tell you a little bit about Ram Trucks, Motor Trend's back-to-back truck of the year. Simply put, these trucks are awesome. The interiors are layered with quality craftsmanship. Technology is second to none. Check out the available 12-inch touchscreen. That's right, a 12-inch touchscreen. Yet you still get the toughest, most durable vehicle on the road. Yet you have the technology. You can't really beat it. The Ram truck is not just winning back-to-back Truck of the Year awards. They're winning over drivers every day. That's why we're all seeing so many Ram trucks on the road. I'm telling you, these things are awesome. Built to serve. RAM is a registered trademark of FCA US LLC.